Right. Hello, you lot. Thanks for joining me, whoever you may be out there, or none of you. Awesome. Once again, it seems like the notifications are not occurring in terms of the YouTube here. Look at that, 5 people here. 5 people. Incredible. Welcome all 5 of you. Do sign off in the chat section so that we can see that you're here and who you are and whatever else. And in the meantime, we'll just talk amongst ourselves, won't we, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, super intelligent shades of the color sky blue, pink, however you might identify. We don't really care. A number of things on my mind today, so hopefully I remember to get through them all. If I don't, Ted will probably give me a good spanking later, won't you, Ted? Yes. Naughty, 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 naughty Baldy. Yes, well, you go and twiddle the knobs, Ted. There's a good boy. Right, let's see who's in the house. Jonathan was first, of course. Of course he was. Good to see you, Jonathan. Yes, super chats are prioritized. However, 41 people here. Amazing. It seems like 41 of you have realized that I'm online because YouTube have given you a notification saying he is online. However, they seem to have failed completely to have warned you beforehand that I was going to be. Just par for the course, really. Right, so Jonathan was first. We got that covered. Mr. Beaumont, good to see you. Rexman, 1984. Yes. Amelias. Okay, if you say so. Question, straight away. And in with the questions, Jonathan. Excellent. What is your question? Let's see. You can consume one food or beverage with 0 negative ramifications. What would it be? Ooh. Sadly, I'd probably go for alcohol. I know, it says a lot about me, doesn't it? There we go. Present and accounted for. Are you? Very good. Whatever happened to having names like John or Betty or Ted? Goodness, I don't know. Greetings from the North Island. Well, greetings. Greetings from the mainland down here. What part of the North Island are you sitting in right now, Brian Doherty 107? It's lovely here in the Tasman. There was a bit of fog, a bit of mist this morning, a bit cooler, a little bit autumnal in feel. But we're away. It's all good. Thawed out, ready to go, ready to deal with whatever the world throws at us today. Hello, Walter. Hello, good to see you. Bev's here, Bev 20. Yeah, nice and short, easy to pronounce, Bev. Okay, good. Scott, unretired carnivore. Good afternoon. It's still morning here in Pimbatia, the independent sovereign nation. 10:33 a.m. on a Sunday morning. The day after my cricket team, without any of my disservices whatsoever, qualified for the grand final next week against our other team in the same club that plays in the same grade. Our club have been absolutely rampant this year. We've owned the thing pretty much. Yes, we put paid to the mighty Wakatu Cricket Club yesterday in a well-contested match in good spirits, it was. I got to sit on the sidelines because my form has been dreadful all year, so my disservices were not required. Anyway, that's how it is. Anyway, there it is. Evening in the Yorkshire Dales. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good morning, and thank you for your great information. You're very welcome. The Mandalorian. Haha, yes, I see what you did there. Hello. Jamie's here in the house. Good to see you. Feck you, Dino. 144. Hello. Feck you too. Whatever. Glasgow's in the house. Good to see you. Good. Right. The Tron. The Tron, eh? I grew up in the Tron a bit. My family moved there in 1982. And I left there for the last time in, what was it? About 2005, I think. I have a lot of history in the Tron. I'm a Waikato boy. Although I'm Jaffa born and bred. Middlemore Hospital, actually. There you go. That's not an answer to any of my secret passwords, by the way, so I'm not giving away anything that you can use for nefarious purpose. But there you go. Anyway, I presume the Tron is still there because you're talking to us from the Tron. Very good. All right. Question. Looking a bit into the total potential human lifespan. Yep. The Hayflick limit. Semitic cells reproduce 50 times before they die from genetics. Nobody dies from genetics. Human lifespan, 120 to 150 years. What other reasons do you think? Yeah, that's pretty much it. It seems like when you talk to people that know what they're talking about in this regard, that's pretty much what they say, what you've said, that like 120 to 150 years should be quite achievable for most human beings under most circumstances if we just got out of our own stupid way and lived a species-appropriate, species-specific lifestyle and diet, which none of us are doing. Some of us are doing the diet part, some better than others. No judgments here. There it is. East Yorkshire. Oh, excuse me. Oh, have some coffee. East Yorkshire. You're very welcome here too. 3 of my 4 grandparents are from York. So there you go. Oh, we get around a bit, don't we? All right, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Who will I debate next? Well, whoever wants to front up, really. Apparently it's not Sunil Shand, MD. He said, I'll debate anybody. Mouth off, beat his chest. I'm so brave, I'll debate anybody, said Sunil Shand. So I said, okay, matey, let's go. No, shit in his pants. Ran away with shit in his pants. You're a coward, Sunil Shand. You're an absolute coward and you're a disgrace. Front up. Front up for a debate. I'll tear you 7 of you assholes. You'll love it. All right. Well, the viewers will love it. You probably won't. Anyway, there it is. Question. Some carnivore influencers say eat something at night before bed like butter to lower cortisol. Well, a lot of people say a lot of things, don't they? Richard Smith says if metabolically healthy, you can eat at night. Sure. What say you? Thanks. Hey, look, there are a lot of different ways to skin a cat. There are many different lengths of string. Your mileage will vary, and any number of mindless analogies like that you can throw around. At the end of the day, find what works for you and don't fix it once you've found what works for you, really. Why are people listening to other influencers? Trust me, I'm safe and effective. I'm the science. You don't need anybody else to listen to, just me. I am the great I am. Well, Ted is. Also, you might have noticed, because most of you completely fucking ignore the ticker tape at the bottom of the screen throughout the entire show and don't act on the instructions on that fucking ticker tape, I've decided to move it to the top of the screen. See? It's up there now. It's there for a reason. It's not there just to look pretty. There are very, very important instructions and informations there. So, do it. Otherwise, Ted will come and visit you, won't you, Ted? Yes. And what will you bring with you, Ted? I shall bring my bucket of soapy frogs. Go and twiddle the knobs, for goodness sake. I can't do a thing with them, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. I keep telling him to tone it down over there on the X platform. I keep telling him, Ted, you can't say that word. People get offended. And he said, I don't give a fuck. See what I mean? That's not the word I mean. It's the even worse word that he uses a lot. The one about next Tuesday. Anyway, if you want to see Ted telling people all about next Tuesday, but mostly actually correcting them on their mistakes, errors, failures of interpretation, etc., you should go to X and you should subscribe unashamedly to HRH_Ted. That's Ted, King of the Bears, otherwise known as Darth Correctus. Yes. Good fun is Ted. Good fun. I've been enjoying watching his interactions with one not really a competent physician, Terry Simpson, who was a guest on my show a few weeks back, you might remember, wherein he made a complete fool of himself. wherein Terry Simpson showed the true depth of his criminal incompetence to interpret, read, or talk about science in any way, shape, or form. After that, I figured he would scurry off into his hole and understand and have the self-awareness to understand that he'd been absolutely dealt with very, very severely by yours truly, this very bad bald man from Pimbathia. No, he doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down, and actually vastly increased the volume of his torrent of erroneous, excremental, pustulous garbage on the X platform. So Ted's had his hands full dealing with that, frankly, among other things. He's not the only idiot on the X platform. God, they're everywhere, aren't they? Anyway, here is a call to action. So you've had one call to action. Do the things on the tape. Do them. For goodness sake. It's not hard. That's what she said. I know, but I'm here a week. All right, so this is your second call to action today already. Go to the X platform, get involved in the discussions with @DR, stands for doctor, I don't know why, Terry, Terry Simpson. You'll see he's having he's actually ignoring Ted now because he cannot assail Ted. He can't deal with Ted. He's pretending Ted doesn't exist. So I think you should all go and remind him that Ted does exist. And while you're at it, you should copy and paste the URL for the video where Terry was a guest on this show here a few weeks ago, reminding him of how well he did in that debate. Not well at all. All right, so that's your next call to action. Please go and do that. Go and support Ted. He needs your support. The hell I do. Well, do it anyway. Ted, you're not helping, as usual. Right, so, good morning, Nick. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Right. Ian Dennis. Good to see you, Ian Dennis. Lambing just about to begin in the Yorkshire Dales. Oh, well, good luck with that. Man, we had a horror run in our lambing season this year. In the antipodes down here in New Zealand. Well, actually, we're in Pimbathia, which is surrounded by the communist state of New Zealand. We lost 50% of our lambs within the first day or so. Turns out there was an issue that we were unaware of that we needed to deal with, so we've dealt with it. So next year, hopefully, not so bad. And then since then, we've lost a couple as well for various reasons along the way. I think it's 3 others that we've lost. It's very sad. It's quite affective. People think that farmers are unfeeling, uncaring, but no, I feel it very deeply. I care for my animals very, very deeply. And I want them to have the best possible lives they can have, and I want them to be fit and healthy and free of disease. And, I don't want lambs being born and dying within a day or 2. That's no good for anybody, except the dogs. They didn't mind. But this is not the point. The point is we do feel this. Now, it's not just money, because actually the farm here is not how I earn my living, as you all know. It's a lifestyle choice. And actually, the bottom right-hand corner of the farming operations thus far have been all in red ink. So send me all your money. That's your next call to action. Support what I'm doing here. Make it worth my while, please. Okay? Enough said about that. Right. Robert Darby. Good evening from Liverpool. Did you have your chicken? Did you have your chicken? I can't do a Liverpool accent, Scouse accent. No. Anyways, yeah, I've been to Liverpool. Nice. Saw the things, as you do when you go to Liverpool. You go, oh, look, the Labour building. Nice. Oh, look, some statues of some band members in an alleyway. A yellow submarine. Oh, well, that's Liverpool. We did it. Tell me if I missed anything. Anyway, welcome, Liverpool. Hello. Oh, the Carnivore Twins. Ooh, Carnivore Twins. Sounds interesting. Tell me more. Tell me more. Did you get very far? Tell me more. Tell me more. Like, does he have a car? No singing. Right, what's next? Watching from Fort Worth, Texas. Welcome, Texas. Phillip Island. Very good. We're all over the world today, aren't we? Question: does beef only long-term cause B1 deficiency? No. Nice, easy one. No, it doesn't. Right. What are the best ways we can live ancestrally to maximize lifespan in today's society? Well, number one on my list of 5 things a person should do. 5, there you go. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 things a person should do to minimize the effects of modern lifestyles on their body. Number 1 is dietary. And what I suggest is a 100% carnivore diet, or as close to that as you can attain and maintain ongoingly. Preferably based about 80% upwards on the muscle meat and associated fat of the large ruminant animals, with 20% discretionary animal-based intakes from other animals. No organs. You can plus or minus eggs if you like, dairy if you like, and you do okay on those. You can eat organs if you want to, but there's no need to, and you certainly shouldn't overdo it with liver because that can be a problem. Salt and water, rinse and repeat. That's number 1 on my list of 5. If you want to know the other 4, you should watch that video on my channel that says 5 health hacks you need to know. How's that? Austin, Texas. Oh, Texas is well represented in the house today. Right, Mr. Beaumont. Could gut bacteria be capable of prolonged fasting without issue, but not transitioning to carnivore overnight because fasting was ubiquitous, not optional historically? And evolutionary mechanism. Yes, bacteria can prolong fast. They tend to encapsulate, some of them, and others shut their metabolic rates down to near zero or indeed zero, and they can last a long time. Yes. Transitioning suddenly is a problem, it seems, mostly because it encourages a very vast change to the speciation and numbers of various different things living in one's alimentary canal, and that causes all sorts of problems. Whereas a slow change over time seems to be something the body is able or more able to deal with less problems. Right, next question. Do you know any of the elites, billionaires, trillionaires who follow a carnivore diet? No. It seems they hire nutritionists who tell them to eat plants. Probably. Lol, whole grains and the like. What a waste of money. Indeed. Indeed, what a waste of money. Why would you listen to someone who tells you to eat the wrong thing? I don't know. Hello, Miss Patricia. Good to see you all. Good to see you're all here. Present and correct. Can we have proof of life of Pim, please? We miss her face. She is here this morning. She's running around doing chickens and ducks and organizing the farm and rallying the troops and stuff. I can promise you absolutely she is alive and fit and well, I think. If I see her, I shall call her hither to you for proof of life. But in the meantime, she's a very busy young lady. She had a birthday recently. Yes. I should think so too. You'll have to report after class to Ted. Yes, report to me after class. I'm just waving. That's all. Just waving. Hello. Right, well, you go and do your thing, Ted. Twiddle the knobs or something. Good boy. Yes, everybody misses Pim. Yes. Love your videos. Well, that shows very poor judgment. What's wrong with you? Found you through Eddie. Yeah, good. The content is greatly appreciated. You're welcome. Learning so much. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help. God Day. God Day? I suppose it is. It's Sunday here. Yeah. Question. Is there a link between estrogen and HDL? Yes. Well, yes and no. Had a relative undergoing estrogen lowering therapy. Okay. Their HDL dropped. Doctor said it's a known effect. Yeah, that's not surprising. Not surprising at all. Reason being that that if you lower some of these cholesterol-based outputs, then the need to locate said LDL around the place is reduced, i.e. the genes are, reacting to that by producing less of it, I think. Yeah. Good. Right. Hell's moving marble. Nice. Okay. Looking to apply for a university in the UK. Why? If you had to pick one, which one and why? I'm sorry to say I have absolutely minus a million faith in any university anywhere around the world. The whole academic industry has lost its way irretrievably, it seems, as a function of society at large having lost its way entirely, it seems. Any person, young or otherwise, coming to me saying, should I go and get training? Should I go to a university? Should I? In today's societal environment, I would strongly advise that person not to go to university, not to get that kind of, it's not even training. It's a period of indoctrination that they will give you. You will not learn critical thinking skills. You will not even learn research skills in a university, of all places, because that's frowned upon these days. Actual scientific rigor and discipline and proper epistemology and all that kind of stuff. What you will get is a woke-tarded, bastardized version of reality. You will get absolutely brainwashed away from the objective reality in which we all find ourselves. You will be overwhelmed by left-hearted fuckwits. I would stay the hell away from a university. How are you going to make your money then if you're not going to get credentials? Well, social media influence is the way of the future, and or learn AI, or both. Get some editing skills, get some coding skills, learn a bit about AI and how to drive the thing. Put yourself out there in a social media influencing sort of way, either with a channel where you've got your actual face on it, like this one, or one fronted by an AI personality, perhaps, if you don't want to put your own face out there. But get yourself out there in social media. Absolutely. It's the way of the future. Well, I say the way of the future, assuming we've got one as a society. Anyway, let's not get too negative. All right. Would grounding be especially helpful during dry fasting since it helps thin the blood a bit? Sure. Could be. Absolutely. Quick shot. Nah. When a person eats tons of carbs, how long will it take to bring the blood glucose down? Well, depends on how many tons of carbohydrates they ate, their genes, and the environment in which those genes are placed at that time. How long's a piece of string? Your mileage will vary. All sorts of things come into it, including how much activity is being undertaken and what the temperature is and what other stresses and distresses are going. It's a rich tapestry. Can't answer that question for you. There you go. The Randall cycle, by the way, folks, is a transient effect, which can become chronic if the transient driver of the effect that we are parsimoniously referring to as the Randall cycle effect becomes chronic. You can quickly reverse the effects of the Randall cycle by correcting the environment. Very quickly, in fact. It doesn't take long at all. Right. I like how Terry, that means not really a competent Dr. Terry Simpson. I like how Terry said he would like to poke your mind and learn more of your perspective. Then he proceeds to block you completely on X. Yes. Although he doesn't block me completely because I'm still able to respond to him. What he's doing is he's put me on mute so he can't hear me. La, 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 not listening to the bad bald man. La, 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 la. Assuming that he's talking to me when actually he's talking to this guy. Yes, it's me. I'm not him, by the way. He's bald. I'm not. I'm nearly bald, but not completely. I'm going to go twiddle the knobs. Bye. Right, the Cotswolds are here. Good to see you in the Cotswolds. Yes, lovely. How much water do you drink daily? Depends on how thirsty I am. I follow my instincts entirely on drinking water. Here's some water with caffeine in it. That's the best kind. Right. How harmful could fruits be? Well, how long's a piece of string? Your mileage will vary. Depends on your genes and the environment in which you place them. I'm aware of the fructose toxicity. Good on you. But what about the quantity in small servings? Well, look, that's the dose that makes the toxin in all cases. Some toxins are toxic at lower doses than others. You can eat quite a bit of fruit before you get a toxic effect, sure. But should you? No. All right. What are your thoughts on modern university and how they teach people? I think I've covered that. I'd stay the fuck away from that. I wouldn't subject myself or anyone in my family to it. It's disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful that academia has been hijacked by the woke-tarded leftist fucktardery that it has been. Aloha! I guess you're in Hawaii then. Yes. Well, it's just there in your name, Paradise. Hawaii, 50. Yes, good. I went there once. Quite nice it was. Well, quite nice in the touristy bits where people go. We had a bloke in our party when I went to Hawaii 2 years ago, give or take, who had lived there himself for 20 years and knew the island that we were on very well, Oahu. And we went for a van tour around the island. Woo. Enough said. Right, you know what I'm talking about. You live there. All right. Anyways, right. If LDL does not cause heart disease, not an if, it's a fact. LDL does not cause heart disease, fact. Why, in your opinion, there is an association between people who are diagnosed with FH and incidence of heart disease? I don't know how many thousand times I've answered that question. Are you new here? Perhaps you are. That's great. We love new people here. Here's the answer. Association can not inform on causation. Here's an example. If I do a correlation study between the sale of ice creams at Miami Beach and the incidence of sunburn at Miami Beach on any given day, what am I going to find? Yes, those two things are correlated. Does that mean we deal with the sunburn scourge by outlawing the sale of ice creams? No, of course not. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's what we've got with LDL and heart disease. The reason why people with FH have a higher incidence, and by the way, that's CE, not TS, incidence, okay? The higher incidence of heart disease in people with familial hypercholesterolemia, so it's called, is precisely because they are unable to absorb the cholesterol, which would be needed to make the repairs. Okay? Not because there's too much of it, they're doing damage somehow. There is no mechanism, no proposed mechanism. There is no way that lipids or the lipoproteins cause heart disease. This does not stand up to even the most basic cursory refutation from a deterministic modeling standpoint. This causes that. That causes the other. It's all theological claptrap that's bought and paid for by the pharmacological industry, who also outright own the allopathic medicinal community and the underpinning so-called academic institutions behind that. All right? Thank you for the question. Glad you're new here. Continue to be new here until you're not new here anymore. Tell everybody else about us. We're great. Ted and I, we're the science. We're safe and effective. You should trust us and never question the science, even though that's how you do science. Right, what's next? Fruits are good if you like feeding bad bacteria and cancer cells. Okay? I'm interested in the same thing your band is. How much water do you... Oh, God. Okay, we've covered that. Depends how thirsty I am. Do you think probiotics can be helpful or useful in microbiome balance? No, I think that's absolute Russian roulette. Here's the thing, by the way, about probiotics, etc. This is a ridiculous buzz term. Why do I say that? Well, here's why. Absolutely everything you put in your mouth and swallow is a probiotic. It comes with its own flora, whatever that might be. Okay? Right, what's next? Have you checked out the Face IQ versus Vegetard Gains debate? No, not yet. Not yet. Are we okay with consuming nuts? I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that at all, pretty much. Well, occasionally, maybe, in small amounts. I would not do that. It's up to you. You do you, of course. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying what I would do, and I wouldn't do that. Ideally. Right. How would one become what you were? When? What I was when? Where do they have to go to become so knowledgeable? Wow, there's nothing like a quarter of a century of experience at the coalface as an actual academic, dealing with students, senior staff, other academics, colleagues, etc., both within institutions in which I have worked over that quarter of a century and out with in other external agencies. Nothing like actually doing research yourself, publishing it yourself as first author, doing your own fucking statistical fucking analysis. Nick Norwitz, Adrian Soto-Motor, Dave Feldman, the software engineer, and Budoff, the senior author, who couldn't be asked reading the fucking paper before it was published. Let me be clear on this again. If you are publishing research which purports to add knowledge, which purports to follow the epistemological standards of science, you as authors, each one of you individually and collectively, are responsible for ensuring that your data is correct, valid, and cross-checked before you publish it. Which means, Nicholas, you have to have the skills and the kit, the equipment to take that outcome data yourself, analyze it yourself, and cross-check it amongst you and your colleagues yourself. You cannot buy good science by getting some other company to collect your data for you that you have to just trust, because you do not have the skills or equipment to even cross-check it yourself. Not remotely good enough. You're done. You're finished. Your credibility is in the fucking toilet, and all of you should shut down your ridiculous organization, shut down your research team, and stop. You four individuals have done more damage to the credibility of this very credible fraternity, for want of a better term, than any vegan could ever possibly hope to have achieved. And you've done that with your incompetence, your arrogance, and your Dunning-Kruger. I hope that's been really clear. Go away. Pull your heads in. Withdraw from making any public statement in this area ever again. Concentrate on learning your trade, because you're all very young men, except Matthew, who should have known better. Learning your trade as a scientist. And do that by learning how to collect your own fucking data. For a start. That's number one. I would have thought that was pretty fundamental. Goodness gracious. Right, what's next? Who will deal with Dr. Alex on statins? Dr. Eric Westman reaction video was way too mild and too past-giving. Send me the URL to my email address. I'll have a look at it. Right. Bad bacteria. Name them exactly. Give us a list of bad bacteria. According to whom? On the basis of what? Feeding cancer cells is also an insane claim. Not so much. Not so much. I agree with you, though. Fruits are likely contraindicated in the human diet, especially modern fruit. Yes, good. Okay. I can't see my comment on the screen. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Here's your comment on the screen. No singing. Here it is. There's your comment on the screen and lights. Enjoy it. Enjoy it while it lasts. Oops, no, it didn't last. Okay. Do you know of any credible studies proving skin cancer is caused by sunburn? No, I don't, because there aren't any. Cause is the word you used. Cause has a specific meaning. It requires a specific level of evidentiary support. It has not been met. Who else is thinking the right-hand side of the phone screen is broken? Whose phone screen? No, I'm not sure what that's about. Right-hand side of the phone screen. Oh, young people and their phones. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Question. Nah. When you said bacteria can't be truly isolated, who said that? Who said it can't be done? What did you mean exactly? To whom is this question addressed? Because I've never said that. Does it have to do with not being able to separate the terrain from the germ? God. Bacteria have not been isolated as per the scientific definition of isolation of bacteria, according to the postulates of Koch's postulates, those are. That doesn't mean it cannot be done. It means it has not hitherto been done. Okay? Maybe in future it will be done, according to those postulates. Okay? All right. What is true happiness means to you? Do you mean what is true happiness, or what does that mean to me? True happiness. Okay. Freedom of thought, freedom of expression, financial freedom, physical freedom in all its aspects, consistent with remaining within natural laws, i.e. that which I do should not impinge negatively on that which others are doing, unless that which others are doing is illegal in and of itself or a detriment to what I'm doing. Of course, we all have individual rights, don't we? Freedom from health issues and someone or someones with whom I can share all of those freedoms and enjoyments, who get me, who want to share in that with me, who want to take advantage of the good parts of that, who understand the flaws and limitations of me. And believe it or not, boys and girls, I'm not perfect. I do have flaws, foibles, and etc. I know it's hard to believe that I'm not perfect, but take it from me. Or take it from this guy. Perfect. I'm perfect. This guy, not so much. Thank you, Ted, for your support in that regard. Yeah, so some of those boxes are ticks for me, and others we're still looking for ticks in those boxes. Right. Yes. Right. Next question. Why exactly does long distance running damage the endothelium, but HIIT is fine? Who said that long distance running necessarily causes anything? I didn't. I said it's not a good idea based on my understanding of exercise physiology and human physiology outside of that. I've repeatedly said that endurance style exercise seems to me to be contraindicated for a number of reasons, and that a sensible person who understands all of those things would probably stay out of that zone and do all of their exercise training at maximal and supramaximal capacities, short lasting, high intensity burst repeat activity and or resistance training, or they do very, very low intensity, long lasting work like walking, or very, very, very submaximal work of an endurance nature, but never in the middle zone. There are many reasons for that, and it's outside the scope of today's discussion for me to cover all of those off. But damage to the endothelium is not one of them that I've ever said is necessarily connected to endurance style activities. I love it when I'm misquoted. Not. Please don't do that. I'm not saying you did. I'm just making it clear that I did not say that. All right. Next question. Is adaptive glucose sparing physiological insulin resistance also a construct? Everything is a construct in terms of the interaction between various aspects of human physiology that make up the overall package of the homeostatic mechanism at large. So yes, it is a construct. It's a construct with some validity and some utility. It's not ridiculous like some of the other constructs that we're suggested that we should follow are. My cat is having kidney issues. That's sad to hear, and is always thirsty. Yes. I should give him one big bolus of protein like you would a human for his electrolyte issues. No, I wouldn't do that. You should not give a person or an animal with kidney disease a huge bolus of protein. What you should do is refer that question to a veterinary surgeon. Really? Who is an expert in dealing with cats with kidney disease. I'm switching the diet to mainly meat soon as well. Well, why is your cat not already eating mainly meat? That's what cats are supposed to eat. Goodness sake. Cats are obligate carnivores. If you're feeding your cat anything that's not meat, bones, organs, what are you doing? Goodness sake. All right. Yes. Bring back trades. Yes, do bring back trades. Trades are great. They're valuable. Yes, they are, because they create useful and capable young men and women and small, fluffy, super intelligent shades of the color sky blue pink. And bears. Yes, and bears. He's got lots of useful skills as this bear, haven't you, Ted? No, I suppose he knows a lot of short words. That's handy. All right. Being carnivore nearly 3 years. Good. Revealing thyroid went crazy. What do you mean revealing thyroid went crazy? Was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism, Graves' disease. When? Before or after going carnivore? Yes, it is very good, isn't it, Jonathan? Very, very good indeed. Face IQ versus vegan gains was just silly, really. Well, that doesn't surprise me because everything Richard says is fucking silly, isn't it? Like, he knows more than me, a scientist with multiple peer-reviewed publications and 25 years of experience in academia, because he can bench press 415 pounds, so he says. Oh, well, that's me putting my place then, isn't it? What an absolute fucking turd you are, Richard Burgess. You pathetic, ridiculous little boy. You child. You arrogant, ignorant child. He really thought he was going to come online here and teach me a lesson about science. Are you stoned? My word. Anyway, that's all recorded for posterity on my channel if you want to see it. Impromptu debate versus vegan gains or something. It's called something like that. You'll find it. It's not hard. That's what she said. But I'm here all week. Is cream a good substitute for butter? In what respect? Depends. What do you want to do with the butter? And what did you want to do with the cream? And you know the butter is just made from cream, don't you? If you don't, you do now. Right. Right. So Face IQ rage baited the shit out of Richard Burgess. Well, that's not hard. Not hard. I decided to handle Richard more by absolutely refusing for 1 second to allow him to state fallacies as facts. No, Richard, still no. No, it doesn't matter what you believe, Richard. That's still not a fact. No, still no. Absolutely not. Here's why not. Anyway, that's another day. It's not that it's embarrassing for Nick and his team. They are done. Finished. Not one of those authors should ever stick their rancid fucking opinions online ever again. They should have the self-awareness to shut down their social media channels, Nick, and shut the fuck up. Simple as that. It's not embarrassing. It's criminally incompetent what they've done. Criminally incompetent. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Do you think there is a connection between carbs and anxiety and depression? Yes, I do. What do you think of a diet consisting of dried cured meats such as jarmin and jerky but lacking cooked meat? I wouldn't do that. If I were you, I would not be doing that. Been a carnivore for 3 years. Very good. Been using Cerul Stem Enhance also for that time. Excellent. October, got sick. Thyroid went crazy. Was diagnosed with hypothyroidism, Graves' disease. Is there? I don't know. You'd have to finish off your statement. You probably ran out of space. Tell you what, if you want to talk to me in the background about stuff and things like that, you should probably book in for a consultancy session. bit.ly/Bart-KAY. And we can talk that out and see if we can work out what's going on for you at all. I've diagnosed myself with chronic nervous system dysregulation. Okay, 1.5 years of unpleasant nausea, eye strain, fatigue, etc. Any advice on how to improve beyond the 5 hacks? Yes, that sounds like a consultancy issue. bit.ly/Bart-KAY. Dave, good to see you, mate. You weren't late, were you? Because you know what happens. Tell us how you really feel. I think I have, Dave. I think I've been very clear. Nick Norwitz, you're finished. You're done. Your credibility is minus several billion. You are an arrogant young man whose ego has allowed him to step right outside of his lane of actual expertise, science, because he doesn't have that. He's too young. He lacks the experience required. He's been led astray by Dave Feldman, who has no business in science at all, none whatsoever. He's a software engineer. That's what he should be doing, not science. And they have published some data that they didn't even collect themselves, let alone have the equipment or skills to analyze that data for veracity, correctness, and whatever. Criminally incompetent. Unacceptable misconduct as a scientist. If you want to publish scientific data, you must have collected it. Unless you are doing a secondary analysis of somebody else's data that's already published. Not remotely good enough. Not acceptable. Sit down, shut the fuck up. You're done. Am I clear? Right. There's claims that plant antioxidants create hormesis by acting as pro-oxidants and upregulating the body's antioxidants. How do I explain to someone that it's not beneficial? I'd like to understand more. Hormesis is a theory. It's a construct. It's an idea. It's based around the idea that zero stress is bad because zero stress is dead, which is fine and correct. It's an idea that says there's an optimal level of everything, including toxicity, creating things. Okay, fine, whatever. If you like that kind of thing, go and listen to clowns that like that kind of idea. I still think the optimum amount of toxic, pro-inflammatory, problematic things in the human diet is none. In practice, I think people are going to let some things sneak in. Most people are, from time to time, and that's where the hormesis comes from. We don't have to actively seek out hormesis or use it as an excuse to put things in that we shouldn't. Say, oh, it's good because it's hormesis, it's hormetic. You fucking idiot. All right, what's next? Not you, the question asker, whoever you might have been. Who was that? It's James Dash. No, not you. You're not the idiot. The idiots are the people that think it's hormesis is good. No. Rhonda Patrick, you're an idiot. How's that? I'm on a roll today, aren't I? Right. Can you elaborate on why fructose is bad? Yes, it's 7 to 11 times, gram for gram, more problematic in terms of glycation-related issues than is glucose. Also, most fructose has to be handled by the liver through a slightly different pathway to what glucose is handled. This particular pathway leads concomitantly, that means without any escape, it has to happen, to a lowering of the hepatic ATP concentration, i.e. the energetic state of the liver. Not a good idea at all. Very, very bad. Would I advise against sunscreen? Yes, I would. Good morning. Good morning. The sun will rise. It's breakfast time. Good morning. No, it's not. It's 11:21 in the morning on Sunday here in Pimbatia, where it's just madness, really. Pimbatia. Madness, I tells you. Dave knows. He's been here. He knows what goes on. Anyway, right, super chats. Love it. Love it. 11 euros and 99 euro cents. Very good. Hello from France. Salut. Some vegans keep telling we don't need animal proteins because we get amino acids from plant and the body assembles those to have the right proteins. How do you respond to this? Yes, you can get proteins from plants. Yes, your body can assimilate those proteins and construct them in the right way. Is it optimal? Because are those proteins in the right amounts and right, relative to one another in any given plant food? No. So that makes it complex. You have to combine all sorts of different plant-based slop to get all the amino acids that you do need, all the essential ones. But there's a whole bunch of other reasons why you shouldn't eat plant-based diet outside of any protein argument. That's a weak argument. It's piss weak. Yeah. All right. Next question. My LDL is 22 after 3 years carnivore. Congratulations. Docs are suggesting familial hypercholesterolemia and referred me to a heart specialist. The only reason I would ever go to a heart specialist is if I have had a heart attack. And then I probably wouldn't take their advice anyway. What tests should I ask them to do, if any? None at all. My HDL triglyceride ratio is perfect. There's no such thing. It's just nonsense, all of it. There is no information of utility to be derived from testing any of your lipids, lipoproteins, subfractions, or any of those things and comparing them to anything. There is no prognostic value of any kind to be had from looking at these numbers at all. None. If you're worried about your heart disease status, go and get a CAC scan and a soft tissue ultrasound scan of your heart. That will tell you what's going on. Then you can do something about it if you need to. But doing something about it will not include reducing your lipids, pharmacologically or otherwise, because that's not the answer, because lipids don't cause the problem in the first place. Right. Could you elaborate on cooked meat versus raw meat? Yes, I could. Also, does it matter which one? No, it doesn't. There's your elaboration. Okay. Lovely. How safe is it to eat raw meat? Perfectly safe. All things being considered, all things being equal. Are the dangers of salmonella exaggerated? With respect to and in comparison to anything else? Yes. The vast majority of salmonella problems don't derive at all from meat. They derive mostly from lettuce. which I think you'll find is not meat. Okay? Plant protein is incomplete. Indeed. That's why you have to mix different plant sources to get complete protein in any one given meal, if that's important. Anyway, the whole protein argument is weak. Very, very weak indeed. There are many much better reasons to avoid plants in the human diet than protein. Yes, plants contain protein. Let's get over that. Let's move on. Hello, Pete. How are you, mate? Good to see you. Hope things are going well. Pretzel Pete. Goodness. That's clearly a joke I've not been privy to or I've missed. Yes. I don't speak very much French at all, but I think we've already had your question in English-ish. Shush. So good. How do I judge the amount of fat that I need? Well, you have evolved, as have the rest of us, with this great little thing called a hunger and satiety mechanism. It'll tell you. Follow that thing. It becomes very, very accurate when you stop poisoning that system by pouring in contraindicated unnecessary carbohydrates. Give it 3 or 4 months for it to recover from the toxic carbohydrate problem, and then it will be very accurate. Follow your instincts on how much fat you should eat. You're welcome. Yes, indeed, that is correct. Looking for questions. You'd be surprised how many clowns think cats need fiber. You'd be surprised how many clowns think humans need fiber. They don't either. Cardio is contraindicated for all Homo sapiens. If you mean endurance style, mid-range, intensity, long-lasting, yes, you are correct. That is contraindicated in my not very humble opinion. Right. How many capsules of Cyro is advisable to take? What do you mean Cyro? I have all 4 of them. Do you mean Cerule? Cerule, not Cyro. Cerule. Okay, you have all 4 of them. There are more products than 4 Cerule products. I suggest to people that 3 of them are definitely indicated, and the 4th one is a possible adjunct for people. Okay, there's 2 different versions of the Cyactive, one that's more geared towards joint and connective tissue issues, and one that's more general anti-inflammatory. How many is advised to take? As many as you can afford in terms of the blue and the green, and or what's even better is if you get them for free, then the finances aren't an issue, aren't they? How do I get them for free, you ask? It was very, very easy. You become an IBO, an independent business owner in the Cerule organization. Do that using my link, which is at the top of the screen on that ticker tape that's been there all the time, but I still want you all to go and respond to. There are still instructions on there. Okay. And you become an IBO and you set up your wellness pack of whatever products you want, and whatever size wellness pack you want. And you put that on subscribe and save. And then you find 3 people somewhere in the world who want the same products that you've got as well, but they don't want to be in that thing you're involved in. They want to pay for their products, and so you let them. And then when you've got 3 customers that you've personally introduced yourself, the company will send you your products every month for free. Go do the math on that. All right. Yes. The animal abuser. Right. In practice, before I move on, in practice on the Cerule products, on the blues and the greens, you can take as many as you like perfectly safely. There's no upper toxicity limit or anything like that goes on. There's no problems associated with it. But more than about 16 a day is pointless because it won't drive the physiological response any higher. It's maximized at around 16 capsules a day. Okay. But that's financially, that's enough for anybody that's paying for them. If you are paying for them and want to continue paying for them, go for the level that you can afford. basically. Yes, vegan gains the animal abuser. Yes, he's had 2 animals that I'm aware of in his, I was going to say care, but it's actually abuse and lack of care. And he's fed both those animals a vegan diet, both of those animals being absolutely obligate carnivores, a cat and a dog. Basically, Richard Burgess is a steaming pile of turd. He's a silly little boy. He's an arrogant, ignorant child. And he should shut the fuck up permanently. So there it is. Thank you for the $10, fully laden swallow. I know you've changed your name, but that's still what you are to me. You're a fully laden swallow. We'll get to that when we get to it. I love running. Should I stop because it's bad? Depends on how you run, for how long, and at what intensity, and what your mileage is, what your volume is. If you want to talk to me about what the optimization of a training protocol should be for your particular circumstances, you should consult with me. It's one of my areas of expertise. bit.ly/Bart-KAY. By the way, while we're talking about such things, there is a landing page that you can all go to join my mailing list. It's on a short video here on my channel, posted a few days ago. It's also on my Instagram, and it's, I think, also on my Facebook pages. Okay, it's a simple little URL. You just click on that, and then add your details, what your email address is and stuff, and you go on my mailing list. Not so I can spam you, because I have no interest in spamming you. There are several things I've got in mind. Number one, I'd like to be able to keep contact with as many of you as I possibly can. If at any stage the YouTube folks decide that I'm persona non grata and need to be silenced permanently on the YouTubes. Could happen. Number two, you'll get a bit of background information on me that's not available to everybody else necessarily, in terms of where I've come from, what informs a lot of my professional training and expertise, why I went there. And also, it will give you an opportunity, yes, you, to book in on my calendar for a 15-minute time slot to just have a chat with me about anything you like. I want to make more actual contact with more of you. I want to actually speak face-to-face to more of you, rather than this monologue that I'm doing right now. Because me and Ted get sick of each other, don't we, Ted? Well, I certainly get sick of Baldy. Thanks, Ted. Yes, I would like to talk to more of you. So take advantage of that. I've made myself available for several weeks for a limited time so that people can actually talk to me and meet me and say hello. And if you want to ask me a quick question in 15 minutes, you can do. Yes, that's to do, I think, with the camera settings as to why Ted looks a bit pale. He's not off color. He's on fine form. I'll correct that for next time if I can be asked. Yeah, so it'll be the yellow being pulled out of the camera image for some reason, probably to do with the green screen in some way. It's all good. Don't worry about it. He's fine. Ted's fine and fit and full of beans, or whatever it is that bears eat. Good. Right. What would you say is the best way to get educated in science nowadays? Binge watch all my videos here on YouTube and also on the Odyssey platform, right back to the very beginning. And stop listening to everybody else, except those one or two people who are generally pretty good, who I've mentioned several times. But mostly, just watch me. I'm the science. I'm safe and effective. Never question the science. Just watch me. On loop, on repeat. And make comments under my videos and share them out to your social media feeds so that other people get to discover the fact that I'm alive and scientifically trained and can give you useful information on things. Hello, Coach Angela. Were you late? You know what happens to latecomers, don't you? Down the back after class. Goodness. Good to see you, Angela. I'm happy because I've been a carnivore diet. You've been on a carnivore diet. Right, my bad. You're happy because you've been on a carnivore diet for 2 years and these last few months with a 2.5 to 1 ratio. Ratios be damned. Who gives a rip-roaring shit about ratios? Trust your instincts. They're good once you've been clean for enough months. Yep. Hello. Meeting Wellness. Hello. Hello. Who are we talking about? Well, we've been talking about Nicholas Norwitz again, Stephen. We've been talking about Adrian Soto-Mota again. We've been talking about Dave Feldman again. Matthew Budoff. We've been talking about those buffheads. So we have. We've been talking about Ted quite a bit. Ted's really made his opinions known today on various things. We've been mentioning about how I'm the science and I'm safe and effective and should be trusted completely, never questioned. It's been one of those mornings, really. Join us in a couple of days from now when Stephen will be back for some more unacceptable views. Yes, some more unacceptable views. Yes, indeed. Can you sum up the Nick Norwitz situation in layman terms, please? Yes. Nick Norwitz is an author who, it seems, did most of the actual scientific work on the keto CTA paper that caused so much problem in our community when it was published because of A, how poor its design was from the outset, B, how poorly and ill-disciplined the boys communicated about their paper to the lay audience and also within the scientific community as well. So we've got Nick Norwitz, we've got Adrian Soto-Mota, we've got Matthew Budoff, who was the supposed senior author, who is an experienced scientist, but he didn't even read the paper before it was published, quite clearly on the basis of what he said when he was interviewed about it at the time. And the bloke that was organising it all was Dave Feldman, who is a software engineer, and frankly should go and do that. He's got no business in science at all, none at all. It's this ridiculous belief that they can reverse engineer anything. Engineers? No, that's not how it works, Dave. Sorry about that. So Dave raised the money through his Citizen Science Foundation. Well, that's a dead giveaway, isn't it? Citizen Science. That's like me saying I'm a gynecologist, no experience, I'll take a look at it for you. It's ridiculous. Absolutely no business playing in the sandpit of science. And what he's done is he's selected two very young researchers with really nothing behind them in the way of clout in the form of Nicholas Norwitz and Adrian Soto-Mota. And those two have selected a senior author, Matthew Budoff, who is near the end of his rope, I would suggest, and frankly couldn't even be bothered to read the fucking paper before it was published. Had he read it, he might have said, hell no, don't publish that. That will do more harm than good. And that's what happened. It did more harm than good. It gave the vegans the opportunity to tear strips off the keto / carnivore community, and rightly so, because they made us look very, very silly by publishing, as it turns out, false data. Not erroneous data, not a mistake, deliberately falsified data. Now, I'm not saying that those 4 individuals deliberately falsified data. They didn't. It's even worse than that. These 4, claiming to be scientists, playing in the scientist sandpit, hired somebody else to collect their data and analyze their data. A company called Sealy. If you're a scientist doing scientific research, your first responsibility, or one of your first responsibilities, I should say, is to have the equipment, the skills, the knowledge, and the capacity to collect your own fucking data and analyze it yourself so that you can stand behind that data as a scientist and say, yes, I collected that data and it is correct and valid. They failed utterly, completely. They outsourced their job, the job of a scientist, because they had no fucking business in that area of scientific inquiry in the first place. No kit, no skills, no understanding, nothing. Oh, what the hell, let's pay somebody else to do it and then publish their numbers that were wrong. We're done. I hope that's clear. Absolutely unacceptable. Total nonsense from Nick Norwitz, Adrian Sotomayor, Matthew Budoff, and Dave Feldman. Absolutely unacceptable. Criminally incompetent. I think I've been really clear about that today. Okay? Oh, yes, it's not in a couple of days. That's right. We're having a week off, Stephen, aren't we? Because I'm talking to Elle. I'm talking to Elle this week. Big Elle Reeves. That'll be fun. We like us from Elle Reeves. He's quite the gent. So, yes, I'll talk to you in a bit over a week, Stephen, of course. Yes. My bad. I forgot all about that. New York shitty. New York. No singing. All right. Is there a causal relationship between diet, mostly in childhood, and improper brain development? Probably, but we cannot establish that because we do not have any experimental works with which to establish that fact. It's very likely. Of course, it's very likely. Common sense. But no, we don't have causal data on that. What is the connection between carbs and depression? Well, who knows exactly? My suspicion is that it's around inflammation. But we don't have any data on that either. I have been banned on a YouTube channel claiming that medieval Japan was vegan for 12 centuries. I did research and it appears to be a myth. Well, of course it's a myth. That's the thing about people that don't like what you have to say and can't actually assail what you have to say. It's the old ban hammer, the block hammer. Hey, Terry Simpson. By the way, it's a second call to action on that. I did it earlier, but let's do it again. Please go to the X platform. Get yourselves involved in the ongoing threads, discussions, the constant torrential stream of postulous, excremental garbage comments from Terry Simpson, Dr. Terry Simpson, at Dr. Terry Simpson, that is, over there. Let him know. Remind him that yours truly, the bad bald man, exists. And probably over and over and over and over again, as Ted has been doing, post the link, the URL, to Terry's appearance on this fine YouTube channel not that many weeks ago, where he had 7 new assholes torn for him by yours truly, this bad bald man, without any help from Ted whatsoever. Thanks, Ted. Remind him. Make sure everybody out there that follows Terry Simpson knows he's an imbecile. Okay? Call to action. Get on it. It doesn't cost you anything. All right. Right, good. How many tables is optimal to take together at once? Tables? Tablets. Well, if you're taking 4 a day, you might take 2 times 2. If you're talking about Cerule, which I presume you are still. If you're taking 8 a day, then you might go 4 times 2, or 2 3s and a 2. Or, you know, split them up how you like. You can take them all at once if you want to. I tend to think spreading them out over the day is probably better. All right. Calorie counting carnivore. Well, if you're not being sarcastic, you and I are not going to get on very well, are we? Dear, oh dear. Since so many people have questions about how much water to drink, since we've been erroneously told to drink 8 glasses of water a day, would it be great, or it would be great, if you could do a video about the subject? Why? It's very simple. We are born with an instinct called thirst. When we are thirsty, we should drink. When the thirst is slaked by said drinking, we should stop drinking. There you go. There's your video. Cut and paste that. All right. Right. Question. What is the Occam's razor? Why priming and or fasting can help address the dad bod abdomen pouch? Well, mostly it would seem that the dad bod is a function, or at least associated quite strongly with higher than ideal estrogen levels, combined with the intake of large amounts of contraindicated, unnecessary, toxic carbohydrates in the diet. And as such, if you stop doing those things, the body will tend to repair itself and put itself back to its genetically predetermined ideal state, i.e. not a fatty. Right. What are the effective exercises that can address that pouch? There are no exercises that can spot reduce fat on any part of your body. That's not how it works. Do I prioritize super chat questions or not? No, what I usually do on days like today, when it's a nice relaxed Sunday morning for me, is I just go through all the questions that I see them in order that they arrived, and everybody gets their chance to have the limelight. Unless somebody puts up a massive super chat, in which case I usually bring it up and say, oh, look, a massive super chat. So it's not that you need prioritizing, because everybody is going to get their questions dealt with pretty much. Certainly a super chat question will be dealt with. Other questions may or may not be. So that's the kind of priority. If you mean prioritization, then yes. All right. Next question. Do you believe that there really is a genuine benefit of grounding directly to the earth? Yes, I do believe that. Does this make living on the higher floors in urban areas potentially bad for human health? If you're not grounded, yes, potentially. Good morning, question. All right. What do you think about US butter sold in New Zealand? I don't buy US butter sold in New Zealand. We bought one yesterday and it looked paler and melted faster than Costco one. Okay. Thank you for your response. You're more than welcome. Can you do a review of Maurice Daher? Have you seen his content? No, I haven't. Send me a URL to look at and my email address, which is on the About tab on my YouTube channel. How can I afford Wagyu rump? Well, there are many ways a person can afford things. There are many ways to skin a cat. There are many ways to make money. Perhaps you could consult with me and I'll tell you what I do, and you might be able to do the same or similar. Yeah. Question. Went back to your question about college. Yes. I am a first year in uni. I don't think it's the best use of my time. I agree. What are some good alternatives that aren't super risky or low paying that I can do? Oh, God, I don't know. I'm not a career advisor. I would just advise people that wasting your time at university is just that. It's wasting your time, I think. I mean, look, every child wins a prize at university these days. Even imbeciles, stupid motherfuckers like Mike Israel can get a PhD. And in America, you don't even have to do a 4 or 5 year period of full-time research engagement to get a PhD. You can do coursework. Ridiculous. The bits of paper that you get out of university are worth absolutely nothing. They give no indication of your credence, veracity, knowledge, or experience. It's just a bit of paper. And it's one that's been eroded entirely as to its value over the last 20 to 25 years or so. How bad are microplastics in a person with leaky gut? That could be a problem, couldn't it? Opinion on raw meat? I think we've been clear on that. Raw meat's fine if that's your thing. It's not my thing. Almost on time? No, not really. Not really. Report to Ted after class, please. Don't repeat your questions just once in the chat. That'll be appreciated. Thank you. We'll get to it when we get to it. Morning from Australia. Good morning, Australia. What part of Australia? What do you think about adding collagen peptides to your diet? Not necessary for most people, but they can actually prove beneficial for some people. There are certain people who do very well on them. My mum is one of those. There's a video on my channel about it. You can actually get collagen peptides through Cerule if you like to. I don't promote the Cerule peptides product actively, but it is there. It is available if people want to take that product. In New Zealand and Australia, I'm told that there's going to be a reformulation of that product soon too, which sounds entirely positive. I like it. Good work, rural people. Keep going. Hello. I am now eating between 200 and 350 grams of Wagyu rump, 1 meal a day. Extremely filling. Excellent. That's good. What do you think of the idea that vitamin A is a toxin and toxic bile theory? Anything can be a toxin if you have too much of it, including vitamin A. Toxic bile theory? Well, you've covered it there. It's a theory. It sounds like you might be a follower of that bloke that talks about, you know, vitamin A toxicity a lot and all those kind of things a lot. I had him on my channel once. It's actually on one of my other channels, not my main channel, but I had him on because I said, well, why don't you tell us all about this? I had him on for an hour and a half, I think it was, and gave him every opportunity to explain himself. He just couldn't. Sad, but there you go. What do you think about short-chain fatty acids derived from prebiotic fiber, suboptimal or beneficial? Doesn't matter. Frog in my throat today. It doesn't matter where the saturated fatty acids come from, really, in terms of once they're there, they're the same thing. Once they get there, there are many reasons why you should derive your short-chain fatty acids from a source other than plant materials. Sure. What do you eat in an average day at the moment? God, you don't want to know. It's been an incredibly stressful time for the last couple of months or so. I've got family members living here on the farm who are not carnivores, who are producing all sorts of non-approved narrative in terms of food. And it's stuff that I used to love. And so I've been terrible for several months. You don't want to know. I'll get it back under control. So I will. Because otherwise Ted will get cross with me. Yeah. Thanks for the advice when it comes to grounding. You're welcome. Okay, I've answered that question 1,000 times. You must be new here as well. Until the point of 3 months, about how much fat in comparison to flesh would you recommend? Is it around 20%? No, how long's a piece of string? Your needs will determine what you should intake. Follow your instincts even in the first little bit. See how you go. I'm really not a fan of counting anything, ratioing anything, measuring anything, or weighing anything. Okay? You will not see pictures of people on the walls of caves and ancient paintings on cave walls of them measuring things, weighing things, or discussing what their ratios should be. Okay? All right. Thank me. You're welcome. Very good. Is raw or cooked meat better if you wanted to be 100% optimal? Neither is better. Better to preserve nutrients or melt collagen and soften proteins. Neither is necessarily better, and neither is necessarily true. It's all theology. $10 squids. Salmonella. Yes, salmonella. Yes. Now there's an interesting name, salmonella. Yeah. Maybe we should have a pretend vegan AI-generated person on our channel called salmonella. That'd be hilarious. Or maybe we should just call them misinformation. Is dairy optimal for the human diet, or are we better without it? That's individual. What else can we do apart from being on a ketogenic diet to reverse heart disease? Who told you a ketogenic diet would reverse heart disease? Who told you that? What you should do is 5 health hacks, which you'll find in a video on the channel that says 5 health hacks you need to know. Go and do those 5 things. Is dry fasting for 3 days a week okay without supervision? Yeah, for most people. I do a monthly water fast. Good for you. But thinking of stepping up the intensity without the extra time. Yeah, you can do. Or if you want me to supervise and want to message me backwards and forwards on a daily basis so I can count your fingers and toes, you can set that up if you like. It'll be a paid consultancy, of course, but there you go. Is there a connection between diet and mental issues and or mental instability? Yes, Are the modern unhinged people that like that because they've been eating carbs and plants? That's a cause and effect statement which we can't support. Can you ask Ted if I am late or not? Everybody's late, or at least they will be when I'm finished with them. Right, not twiddling. Good boy. What do you think about milk and or raw milk if tolerated well? Well, there's your answer. Especially for a growing teenager. No, not especially. Could it be seen as beneficial tool for calcium lactofferrin? No, that's going too far. Greetings. Many influencers are making it sound like women must take HRT to avoid falling apart after menopause. Well, stop listening to most influencers. There's your answer. Stop listening to these idiots. I am the science. Me, safe and effective. Listen to me and only me. I'm only half joking. I really want you to stop listening to these other people. Oh, for God's sake. You're new here, are you? Mm-hmm. No, he isn't. I've invited him multiple times. For God's sake. What's wrong with people? Love the unacceptable views. Excellent. Good. We'll keep them going. I shall also have other people on the unacceptable views format too. It won't be just a me and Stephen thing. We have other friends too. Well, I have other friends. He's not allowed. Yes. Whom is spamming? Whom is spamming with their spam? Not me. I don't spam. Spam, 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 spam. Tiddly-pom. Tiddly-pom. Julian is spamming. Yes, stop it, Julian. Julian has paid for this one, so it's not spam. I've covered that 100,000 million times on my channel already, and I've already answered you on that. Thank you for the money. Where did you go, Pete? Where did you go? And who said you could go there? Goodness gracious, you don't leave in the middle of my show. What do you think about sauerkraut, pickled beets, and pickled cucumbers? None of those things are necessary in the human diet. If you like them and you don't have a problem with them and you think they're beneficial to you in some way, then you fill your boots up. I won't be doing that. What sort of food is most damaging to our teeth? Carbohydrates. Also, is genetics or nutrition more important in our dental health? Don't know. Case by case. Having steak and pasta without the pasta. Good for you. What are your thoughts on the long-term health benefits, or health implications, I should say, of tattoos? A number of carnivores have them, yes, which strikes for intelligent people who want optimal health outcomes. I'm not going to comment on that. There are some ideas around the effects or potential effects that tattoos may have on someone's long-term health. It's an individual choice for a person to get tattoos or not to. I'm not going to judge on that. Why do you promote your other channels while you no longer upload there? Well, hopefully, because that way enough of you will go and subscribe to those channels to make it worth my fucking while to post there. How's that? I would also add to the depression comment, the brain supposedly has an affinity for ketones. A high IG ratio may make it harder to get what it's looking for, if you like. Stephen has done a bit on that already. Good for you, Stephen. Hi, Hilarious. Good. It's like a miracle. You mean Ted? Ted's like a miracle? Yes, he is. Don't repeat your questions. Ask them once. They will come up on the screen or they won't. Good, you're lucky Pim's not here. She actually is. Hang on a minute, because you asked for proof of life earlier on. Hang on, hold the phone. Not required. Proof of life. Yeah. They think I've killed you off or something.
You want to?
Come around here and put your lovely face on the camera and say hello to the boys and girls.
I'm on an Easter hunt.
Easter egg hunt. That's lucky. Right, proof of life.
Proof of life.
Pim, Queen of Pirates.
Hello. Oh, wrong way.
That
No,
way, this
right
way. There we go.
Yes. Yes.
She's
I'm
alive
I'm alive.
and well and hunting Easter eggs.
Yes.
Right, off you go then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We don't get enough eggs.
There you go.
In some way.
All right, close the door. Thank you.
Yeah.
Close the door. Let the frog sing. La, 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 la.
Yes.
Right, so there you go. Proof of life for Pim. Yes, report to Ted. What is the main cause of the obesity epidemic in the developed world nowadays? Well, carbohydrates. Unnecessary contraindicated carbohydrates. Most powerfully, that effect shows itself when carbohydrates are mixed in the diet with fats. Okay. Okie dokie dokie. Yes. Yes, processed foods might be involved. Also, seed oils might be involved and various other different pathways, etc. Yes, big Q. Okay. What should a baby's diet typically consist of, aged 0 to 10-ish? And at what age should a child start to be carnivore? 80% fatty cuts of meat from ruminant animals, some butter, eggs, and dairy. Well, a child should consume mother's milk until weaned, upon which they should immediately become carnivores as described. Okay. There you go. Question. Have you tried foods or snacks from USA? Have you tried foods from? Yes, I have. I went to the USA a couple of times. If so, how does it compare to non-USA foods? USA foods and snacks. Typical USA foods and let's separate that out. Snack foods, junk foods, processed foods. The American is about the worst in the world. That would seem just horrifically bad. Food in general in the States, I didn't really notice that it was of much higher or lower quality than other places I've been. Yes. Is it true New Zealand has some of the best beefsteaks in the world? Yes, it is. Because your cows are fed mostly grass, entirely grass, all year round. Yep. Your opinion on niacin flush? I don't have one. On a previous chat with Lisa, I asked about fasting, preserving muscle to achieve a very lean physique. Okay. Does simply eating less have a similar effect? Eating less what? Also, does eating or does beef broth limit effects of fasting? If you are consuming beef broth, you are not fasting. So yes, it does. Okay. If you could go back in time, these are always funny questions because we can't. If you could go back in time, would you involve yourself with universities, science, academia, etc., or would you become a farmer straight away? Okay. The simple, most basic, obvious answer to that question is, well, it's a silly question because I can't go back. The second thread of thought around that is, well, everything I have done in my life prior to this point has led me to this point. And without those steps leading to this point, I may never have got to this point. If I did not go to university, study, become an academic, publish a bunch of things, be a lecturer for many, many, many years, all of that, would I then have had anything to talk about on a YouTube channel? Would I have ever thought of having a YouTube channel? If not, then I wouldn't have been able to get in front of people to talk about the thing that really fires me up more than anything else, and that is the Cerule line of the 3 products over my right shoulder right now. Stem Enhance, Cyactive, and Plasma Flow as the one thing that I can get my teeth into marketing, the one product I can promote on my channel and nothing else, just that product. The thing that I can stand behind absolutely and say, absolutely every single one of you should be taking that product on a daily basis. No, it's nothing to do with nutrition. It's nutraceutical in effect. That's where the money comes from, almost entirely. If you people think that I make a lot of money as a YouTube creator off AdSense ad revenues, you're stoned. I don't know what you're smoking and where can I get some? Because no, YouTube pays very, very poorly indeed per hour of view time. Very poorly. Not to mention working against my channel growing with malice aforethought, shadow banning the hell out of me for years and years on end. Okay? Without the income, which is almost entirely derived by marketing Cerule products, there would be no way I could ever have dreamed of buying a farm. So, and it's all dominoes. How's that? Right. Are omega-6 fatty acids from animal fats such as pork and chicken deleterious? It seems like not in any way, shape or form like seed oils are, and it's probably down to deuterium. Not sure on that, but no, it doesn't seem to be problematic. Hello in Wales. Wales UK grounding is fantastic. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Howdy from Arizona. Howdy, howdy. What happened to Pim? Well, she was here just a few minutes ago. Did you not see her? Maybe you asked the question before she was here. Yes, you did, because that was like 17 minutes ago. That's how far behind I am. I'm doing a Harry. Q and Q&A. Q&A every Saturday. Not necessarily. It depends on what's going on here. I do try to do a weekly live stream in this time slot. In recent months, I have been unable to do it more often than I've been able to do it through events beyond my control and some within my control. Should I buy a grounding sheet for my bed? Yes, absolutely. Without any question in my mind, you should do that. Purchased the Cerule face products during the stream. Good on you. Okay, yeah, we've also got a line of skincare and, you know, that kind of stuff as well, based on the same stem cell technologies and things. They're fine products as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know in terms of skincare products. I don't actively promote those products, mind. I promote the 3 that are above my right shoulder right now that you can see, the green label, the blue label, and the red label. They're the ones that I think people should absolutely be on without any question at all. But hell, there are other products you can purchase from Cerule as well, and that's fine with me. I think the AFA-based night cream is awesome. I'm actually 107 years old, you know. Do I look it? Right. What do you think about Ray Peat's views? Well, number one, very difficult to comment on Ray Peat's views because for the last 20 years or so of his life, he was completely incomprehensible because his speech was so slurred. So there's that. Secondly, Ray Peat doesn't have any views. He's dead. Okay. Thirdly, that which I did glean from Ray Peat, or at least what some bunch of imbeciles running around claiming to be what they call Peters, or bioenergetics people are saying about what they think Ray Peat had to say is A, I'm told probably a little bit erroneous, and B, stupid as fuck. Absolutely mindless and completely wrong. So there you go. Mainly that's a comment about the Ray Peat Brigade, though, than Ray Peat himself, because as I say, I never really understood anything he said. I've read some of his writings and I don't agree with them. I think they're stupid. But as to what he said, well, who knows? He could have been saying anything. You can get BCFAs from raw connective tissue. You can get SCFAs from butter. Yes, and or ketone bodies. Ketone bodies also short chain fatty acids. Yeah. Yeah. Question. What do you think of a carnivore diet that only consists of milk and other dairy products? That's not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. $20 from the Feral Grandma. Thank you, Grandma. Thank you for $20. Just enjoying this. Good on it. Good on it. Good on you. Continue enjoying it. And us. Yes. Have you and Dr. Ken Berry chatted together? We did one video that I'm aware of or can remember together, which he told me he was going to post on his main channel, and he did not do so. He hid it in a back channel somewhere so that nobody saw that he'd chatted to me. That's a bit disappointing, frankly. I've chatted to Ken Berry quite often behind the scenes when he wants advice on something scientific that he's not 100% certain on, or wants support from me on something. But it's a bit disappointing in terms of the quid pro quo, frankly. Ken's a good man. I like Ken a lot, but I'm a bit disappointed by Ken and others with their lack of support for helping me cross-pollinate, helping me to become more visible in the face of YouTube not wanting me to be. I think people should do better, those with bigger channels than me. Goodness gracious, Patty's late. Of all people to be late, Patty. And Francois. Goodness gracious. Hello, Francois. Ted says hello too, and and stuff. Yeah. Question. Do you think the young folks swearing on raw meat and Arjunists do it to rebel more? Yes, I do. And to look cool. Yes, I think they're cool. They're not. They're fucking stupid. Arjunis was an imbecile. A paid actor, a failed actor, a dead failed actor, with a Wednesday afternoon certificate in bumfuckery or basket weaving or something. Not a good source of information on anything, really. Hey, been watching you for a couple of weeks now and haven't heard you talk about raw. God! Okay, what's next? Question. Why do long-term endurance athletes develop calcified plaque? Well, because they're humans, and humans develop long-term calcified plaque if they don't do the right thing with their bodies longitudinally, and athletes generally don't. Athletes are among some of the worst in terms of their diet and healthy behaviors. Yeah. Thoughts on Eric Berg content? Eric Berg is an imbecile. Eric Berg is a chiropractor, for fuck's sake, and should go and do that. Eric Berg is a Scientologist. One of the many reasons he's an imbecile. And no, not a good source of nutrition information. Not at all. I am the source of nutrition information. Me. My channel is where people should be, not elsewhere. I am the science. I'm safe and effective. Don't question the science. Very much, yes. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Question. Saying eating dairy on a diet is individual means there is no studies on dairy being optimal, or is it not for humans? Some people do well on dairy, some people don't. That's just experiential. No, there are no studies on any aspect of hard health outcomes in human beings as it relates to any kind of diet whatsoever over any reasonable period of time. Not one study on anything. They do not exist. It's all theology, crackpottery, pseudoscience, smoke and mirrors propaganda. Do you think tap water in New Zealand is bad? Depends where you are. On this particular property, which strictly speaking is not part of New Zealand because we've seceded, we are our own independent sovereign nation here in Pimbatia. We get all our water from a well on the property, which is accessing an underground artesian supply. It's lovely. Yes. Marcus Young, love your videos. Is Marcus Young here? Come and say hello, Marcus Young. Ah, Marcus Young is here. Hello, Marcus Young. Send me an email. Maybe we can have a chat online, on camera. Up to you, whatever. It's all about cross-pollination. I'm all for it. Tell Frost to come to the stream and debate him, meaning me. Who's Frost? Never heard of Frost. Thoughts on Michaela Peterson adding new foods to her diet? Well, that's her funeral. She can do what she likes. Any thoughts on creatine monohydrate with your infinite wisdom? Yes, I've been asked that 1,000 billion times as well. Creatine is the most researched supplement available anywhere on the planet, and it's the one with the most equivocal database about its benefits or lack thereof, and in various different aspects of various different things. I'm not convinced about taking creatine being useful in any way, shape, or form, really. There it is. Yeah. He won't be bothered. Fair enough. I don't even know who he is. Frost. Never heard of Frost. No, probably not awake either. Well, not many people from the vegunarized community are awake, frankly. That's just for another day, though. Right. What's required for hygiene? In what way? In what sense? Some people say brushing teeth or showering are less necessary on carnivore. Well, people say all sorts of things, don't they? Who's got the highest cortisol ever recorded? Not me. I don't. Have you? You literally saw a Frost stream yesterday and he was talking about yours truly, this bad bald man. Was he? Somebody send me the URL. Ted will watch it and have a laugh because Ted loves it when people slag me off. Yeah. Lol. Yay, Pim. Yes, yay, Pim. There you go. You all had your fix of Pim for the next 6 months. She's too busy to be here on a Saturday evening, Sunday morning and help out. Yes. Hello, Pim. Yes. Hello, darling Pim. Hi, Pim. There you go. So, proof of life. I haven't killed her. All right. Is eating only fish instead of meat optimal? No, it isn't. No. What will they debate about anyway? Frost always refers to myself for his views. Does he? I still have never heard of Frost. Sorry, I just haven't. I'm too busy doing my own thing to follow too many others, to be fair. Dave says, hello, Pim. I'll pass all these on later, Dave. Right. Is wild game necessarily healthier than grass finished properly raised beef? Who told you it was? No. Curious, since beef has been more interfered with. Not the beef on our property. No, it hasn't. And hybridized by man. Okay, yeah. Whatever. Okay, yeah, so maybe Frost and I could talk about raw versus cooked. Fine. There you go. Yeah, raw versus cooked. A lot of votes for that. Raw versus cooked. Okay. What was on Pim's t-shirt? Pim's t-shirt says, yes, I really do need all these ducks. So many fucking ducks. You wouldn't believe how many ducks and chickens. Jesus. She's gone mad. She's turned into the mad duck lady, frankly. Yes, she exists. Okie dokie. So Frost has apparently copied me, but hasn't everybody? No, not everybody has. Some people don't copy me at all. Just the one Q on the front of your question. Thank you. Have you heard of umbilical stem cell treatments helping with nerve regeneration? Yes. Would taking your stem cell product simultaneously be helpful? I would suggest the taking of cerebral products and not the umbilical cord treatment, personally. I'm not making any therapeutic claims, neither am I giving anybody any medical advice. I would take cerebral products, and that's the only thing I would do. Why would you listen to Guartis/Spherier? Why? The man is an absolute cockknocker. He is an absolute fucking imbecile. He is a silly little boy and a bit stabby, apparently, but that's for another day. Will adding 20 to 30 grams of carbs as intra-workout carbs improve my performance? It depends on the situation before you started that workout in terms of what your diet has been chronically prior to. Simple as that. If you are properly fat adapted, then carbs are not going to help you. In fact, they'll probably cause your performance to decrease. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Happy to debate just about anybody. How did I go for Dr. not very competent Dr. Terry Simpson? How did I go for Terry Simpson? And remember, I want you all, please, after this, to go to X. Get involved in slagging off Dr. Terry Simpson. Only as he deserves it, which is on every single comment he makes, because they're all absolutely mindless, ridiculous, AI-generated claptrap, frankly. Don't forget to copy and paste the link to the debate he had with myself on this channel a few weeks ago where he got 7 new arseholes torn for him. That way he'll have to stop ignoring me and deal with it. Get into it. Call to action. Yeah. Is meat and eggs only the optimal human diet? No, eggs are not required. Eggs are an option. They're a perfectly fine option, but there's nothing optimal about eggs. Can we even suppress eggs and still be optimal? Well, yes, I've just answered that for you. Yes. Yes, opinions are just like assholes. Almost everybody's got one, and yours too is full of shit. Does grass-fed beef and corn grain-fed beef taste different? Not to me. Yeah. So she is. I think you mean Pim again. Can a carnivorous diet help an aortic dissection? It's possible, but there's no specific mechanism by which it would. Depends on the cause of the dissection, really, as to what's likely to be the most ameliorative process. Delicious. Is doing a sugar fast with pure sucrose indicated for IGF-1 signaling and growth? No, it's absolutely contraindicated for all purposes at all times. It's the stupidest thing you could possibly do. Anyone who would consider doing a sugar fast is a numbnuts. It's dumb. Right. I got it. Yeah, I'm just about running out of time and patience. We're heading towards the 2-hour mark, and I usually like to stop before that. There may be some questions we don't get to today, but that's fine, because tomorrow, I will have the lovely young Liza on to answer questions, so you can get her take on things. Again, because she was so good in the first one, I thought we'd have her back. I know you're all very upset about that and don't want to see any more of Liza on the channel. Tell me I'm wrong. She'll be on tomorrow. I can't wait. She's awesome. We love us some Liza up in here, don't we? Yeah, it's really is very, very gratifying to see a person of such a tender young age who has got a grip really on all of this stuff with health science before even leaving school. She's a schoolgirl still, for God's sake. And she answers questions more sensibly and with more gravitas and knowledge behind her than most MDs and PhDs that I've heard say all sorts of stupid shit. So join us tomorrow for a chat with Liza about stuff and things. So there might be some questions left over for her, and you can ask the same questions again tomorrow if you like and see what she says. Anyway, there we go. Are we supposed to fast? Depends. Opinion on NMM, case by case. It's not a necessity. It might be useful in certain cases. It's not a tool I use in my toolkit. It's not in my top 5. Can humans skip brushing their teeth on a meat-only diet, or is it again individual? You make your own choice on that, frankly. Right. All right. Scanning for any last-minute, absolutely vital things. Not really seeing them so far. Chat. Very good. Chat. Can I debate Matthew Nagra? Yes, standing on my head. I doubt that he'd be willing to do it, though. Any day of the week, twice on Sundays, Matthew Nagra, and another absolutely arrogant, ignorant, Dunning-Kruger suffering buffoon of the highest order. A complete stain on society. Nothing of value to add to anybody. Just an absolute imbecile. Yes, happily I would debate him. I doubt he'd do it. Why does the modern academia still perpetuate all the myths about cholesterol, etc.? Well, money. It's bought and paid for. I got it. Okie dokie. I use a grounding mat. Good for you. 400 millimeters times 600 millimeters on the base of the bed and sleep with my feet on it, and it works really well. Okay, cool. Somebody asking Marcus about cholesterol. Why would you ask Marcus about cholesterol? When did he become an expert in cholesterol? I know what you're doing is throwing him a challenge that he can't answer, because there is no difference, because there's no such thing as good and bad cholesterol. Cinnamon, what about cinnamon? Maybe, maybe not. There are many other ways that people like Chafee could help me a lot more than they do. Ken Berry, you're another one that could help me a lot more than you do. Love you still, but a bit disappointed. I really am. Okay. Right, I think that's it. Can't see any more questions. No more questions today. Save your questions for tomorrow when Liza will be here. We're looking forward to that. See you then. In the meantime, don't do anything I would. Trust me on that. Be good. Be good to each other. Whatever. Okay, go and eat some meat. See ya.